Hi, welcome to Joanna's DIY Life. On this channel, I like to do, well, just a little bit of everything. So today we're going to be doing these Farmhouse Valentine DIYs, but they're not just for Valentine's Day. So let's get crafty. Okay, first I'm going to take this folk art chalk paint. I have fabric that I printed, and I'll put a link to that video in the description box. And I have a heart from Hobby Lobby, a pack that I bought there. And I'm just going to give it a black coat of paint. And I painted it black because you can see the design through the fabric. And I didn't want to put 3 or 4 coats of white. So now I'm just putting my glue stick. Yeah, a glue stick to glue fabric. So I'm going to put my glue stick and make sure that this wood is covered all over. It's a repositional glue stick. And then it's permanent once it's dry. Very good glue stick by Elmer's. Then I'm going to take my squeegee and I'm going to squeegee out any excess glue and fix any wrinkles by pulling it up and then, putting it back down. Then once it's dry, I am going to take my X-Acto knife. And I got this X-Acto knife from the Dollar Tree, y'all. And it works, but I did have to put an X-Acto knife blade in it. And then, of course, I added a pencil gripper, 1, because it was purple, and 2, because it just made it a little more comfortable. But I'm still scared I'm going to get my finger cut off with these things. But anyway, I just go around it, or I was going around it, and it like I said, it needs a new blade. So I grabbed my little curved scissors, and I'm just going to go around it, and you go one way, and then I flip the scissors and go the other way and get any excess fabric off. And there it is, looking pretty. And now I'm just going to take this lace, and I'm going to take a high temp glue gun, and I'm just going to attach the lace on the outside edge of the wooden heart. And I don't know where I got the lace. I don't even know how long I've had it, because I am crafting stuff out of my stash this year, if at all possible, to get rid of stuff. And also, what's the sense in buying more when you already have it laying around? So I'm going to try to use what I already have as much as possible. So there's going to be things, I'm not going to be able to tell you where I got it or how long I've had it or anything like that. So anyway, I'm just going to glue this all around till I get to where the beginning is, and then I'm going to cut it off. Now I've got this little raggy twine bow right here, and I have got this ribbon, and I am just going to pinch it up and tie a little bow, and then I am going to get some of the oh, good Lord, what is those? Beads. Yeah, I've got these beads that I cut. Oh, I'm struggling. And I'm just going to glue these all down on top of each other. I'm going to start by gluing the beads down first. And then I am going to add the little twine messy bow. And then I'll just add the little pink one on top of all of that. Now I'm just going to flip it over, and I am going to add a piece of twine on the back, and I'm just going to tie a knot in the twine, And then I'm going to glue that knot down. And then I'll glue the other knot down as even as I can get them. And then I'm going to just put glue over top of them to make sure that they are secure and don't come up. And then it is finished. Okay, so on this one, this is one of the Dollar Tree plaques that I got last year, and which that hasn't been that long ago, now has it? And then I have a piece of paper from Hobby Lobby. I have these hearts that are burlap, and then I have the wooden ones, and both of these sets are from Hobby Lobby. And then I have, that was Heat and Bond Light. It's fusible stuff for fabric. And then I have ink chalk paint and clothespins and twine and fabric, and we're fixing to have fun. So I'm going to take the prongs up and take the back out of this plaque, this picture, whatever thing. And then I am going to try to take this flower off. And it came off, but it left a bump. So I'm going to try to peel the paper, which started peeling, but I ended up having to spray it with water and get it off that way, and then dry it with my heat gun. So let me do that and I'll get back with you. Okay, so we are dry, and I'm just going to take my glue stick and I am going to quickly put glue all over this and then set my paper down. Surprise, surprise, it's my favorite way to put paper down. But anyways, I want to put it in the middle because I don't want the dots on it, because they'd either be at the top or the bottom, and I didn't want just one set of the dots. So I just put it in the middle, and then I'm going to cut around it. And this is one good thing about these repositional glue sticks. You can pop them back up if you don't get them right and then set them back down. But anyways, I'm just going to put this down and then trim out around it, and I'll be back. Okay, now I'm just going to set this aside and let it dry. And I'm going to grab my frame and I'm going to give it a coat of ink chalk paint inside and out. Then I'm going to set that down to let that dry. While that's drying, I am going to take this is a mat for your heat press, and I can use it to iron on. And I'm just going to take 3 of the burlap hearts, 1 of the wooden hearts because it fits perfect for a template. Take my little mini iron the fabric. I'm going to use the heart as a template, like I said, and just cut a square around the heart big enough to where the heart can be placed down on there and traced out. So I'm going to take my iron, it's on high heat, and I'm just going to fuse that to the fabric, and then I'm going to trace it out, and then I'm going to cut it. The reason I use this fusible stuff is because I can fuse that to fabric kind of like a patch, but it's really not as strong as a patch in my opinion. If you do use it as a patch, you have to applique around it, which I use this when I do appliques with my embroidery machine some. So this just works perfect for doing this DIY, and I'm going to do this with all of my fabrics. Then when I get them done, I am going to take the heart that I put the fusible web on, or it's called Heat and Bond, and I'm going to peel that paper off carefully, place it down where I want it to go, and I'm going to hold it with one finger, and then I'm just going to iron and press down when you iron, and you should be done. And the reason I chose Heat and Bond instead of glue, hot glue, is because this will lay flat and it won't have all the bumps that hot glue will. So I'm going to do this with all of my fabrics, and then I'll show you what's next. So now I'm just going to take the backing, and everything is good and dry, and I am going to place the jute string around it. I'm going to glue it in the back. I do move that down. I forgot to add room for the frame, actually. So this one I glued down some, and then I'll take the other one off and reposition it. And then when I get that all, you know, glued where I want it, then I am going to put it back in the frame. That way the glue holds it, and also the frame will hold it as well. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video so you won't miss any content. I would appreciate that, and it would help my channel tremendously. Thank you for your support. So now that I have that, I'm going to tug my string a little bit. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to loosen up the jute. And I am now going to take string, and I want them two smaller, or not smaller, but shorter. Two shorter ones and one long one, because that's the way I want them arranged inside of the frame. I want the red one in the middle, so I'm going to put it on the longest jute string, and I'm going to put it in the middle. Then I'm going to take one of each of the black ones, and I'm going to put them on the shorter strings, and they will go on the ends. That is what the clothespins are for. So I'm going to clothespin them in when I get the back glued on. Links to most of the supplies will be in my Amazon storefront, which will be in my description box. And all you have to do is click the link, and it'll go to my store where you can purchase the items that I use, and it's no additional cost to you. You will just be going through my link, which helps me out. I appreciate your help. Now the rest of this DIY is just as simple as clothespinning your strings to your other string, and then you are done. And there they're all clipped in. And of course, I wasn't satisfied, so I'm just making simple little bows to go in the middle of the hearts, you know, because that's the way I like it. It reminds me of that song. That's the way, I like it. Yeah, well, so it's mine, and I like it, so that's what I'm gonna do. And here it is, and it is so much cuter. Okay, so now I have one of these palette signs, whatever it is, from the Dollar Tree, but the wood is going the other way, so I'm gonna have to take the back strings off because I want it to hang, but I don't want it to hang this way. So I'm taking the back off. I mean, not the back off. I'm taking the jute string out, and I'll add that back later. So I'm just going to take a baby wipe and some gray paint, and I'm going to use the wet wipe and the paint as a stain. This works perfect for doing things like this. I did give this a good sanding because it had splinters. So make sure you check that or do that before you do anything like this. But I am just going to try not to get it on the other ones. And I am going to stain just the 3 because I'm going to be staining the other 2 with pink. So I just got Apple Barrel hot pink, and I'm going to use another baby wipe that's clean other than that other pink I had. And I am just going to take my pink, and I'm going to do the same thing, staining the other 2 little boards. Now once that paint is dry, I'm going to take this heart that I just folded in half and cut out to fit this, and I'm just going to trace on my boards around it. You will not see this pencil line when we're done, so you don't have to worry about that. So I get this all traced out, and then I am going to take and get this rope that you get at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to take hot glue, and I'm just lightly spreading glue in there. And then I lick my fingers to get them wet, because when your fingers are wet, it won't burn you. And I just make sure that I seal that down, because I don't want my rope to be fraying or whatever, looking all ugly, you know. So I'm just going to glue on each of these boards, and I am going to go over the line that I put down there with the rope and make my heart on my board. And it's going to be cute, y'all. I promise. Now, when you get to the end, you want to take sharp scissors and cut it. And then I'm just going to tack it down. And then I'm going to kind of go in around it like I did in the beginning and tack all the, ends down. Now I'm going to take these little fabric flowers. I got these at Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to glue one down. And then I'm going to glue the other one right close to it. Now I'm just going to take twine, and I'm going to make a finger bow by going over and around and around. I'm going to have to do a tutorial on my bows, because my daughter's like, Mom, you need to slow down, show us how to do that. And so I'm just going to have to do a tutorial on it. But anyway, I'm just going to put this bow, it's a double loop bow, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the flowers. I'm just a little extra sometimes, I guess. I don't know. But I thought it needed a bow. It's cute. So now it is finished, and it's so stinking cute. I was going to add a pearl, and I thought, no, don't do it. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. So I'm done. Now I got to turn it over and add my twine back to the back. And now it's done. Okay, now I'm going to take this heart wreath form from the Dollar Tree. And I bought this last year, actually. But I don't want the whole thing. So I'm going to take my wire cutters, and I'm going to cut all the way around, because I want the biggest one, the outside one. So that's what I'm doing. I'm cutting this off, and you have to be careful because these things will scratch you. You can file them down or sand them down, but I was just going to cover them, so I didn't really worry about it. So now I'm going to take some of the fabric that I printed, some lace, some other fabrics, and I'm going to cut them in. I don't know what I ended up doing. I cut them. They need to be in 7-inch strips, is what I figured out. And I don't know if I even showed you that. But they need to be in 7-inch strips. So I'm just going to cut notches, and then I'm just going to rip my fabrics, because if y'all follow me for any length of time, I love the look of ripped fabric. Now, of course, the lace you're going to have to cut, but you just want strips and strips and strips of this, because we are going to be taking these strips and we're going to be tying them on our frame. You can also make one of these frames with a wire clothes hanger if you can find one, and all you would have to do is just shape it into a heart. But anyways, I am just going to randomly tie these strips on here. No real order. It's a shabby chic looking thing. And I'm just going to start tying them on and then adding pieces of lace, and it will look similar to this. And don't judge it just yet, because this is going to turn into this. And how beautiful is this? Now, I will tell you, I did have to take the point at the top and bend it in some to make it look more, like a heart. But anyways, I'm just going to try to pull all my strings out of here, and then I'll go from there. Okay, as you can see, there is fabric flowers there. You can add those randomly in there if you want to. That's up to you. And I actually turned mine over because the back looked better than the front. But now I am just tying jute string on each one of the, I guess you'd call them heart humps. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to go in between these the best I can and just tie knots so that I have a hanger. Of course, I gave a thumbs up and then had to add a bow. You can see it finished in the end of the video. Okay, so this is my last DIY in this video, and this has to be my most favorite, of course. I have this sign from the Dollar Tree. I just thought it was neat when I bought it. Didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I figured it out real quick. So we're just going to change it up a little bit. You can see the love is already coming apart. So I've got this picture of my littles, my grandbabies, and I am going to sand this down. You see the paper falling off? The paper wasn't even put on the little house correctly. So this just started peeling up. So I am going to use water and get all this paper off and dry it with my heat gun, and I'll be back with you shortly. So I wanted this to match as close as possible, so I used my brown truffle paint. After I got most of the paper off and sanded it down, I'm going to give it one coat, was all it took, of truffle paint. So now I'm going to take a white metallic marker. I get these from the Dollar Tree. I absolutely love these. I use them actually more than paint pens when I can. I'm just going to write my littles. And I apologize for my voice. I think it's going out. I've been growly for the last 15 minutes, I think. I do apologize. Normally I would do this also with vinyl, but I just wanted my own handwriting for a change, just to show you that you don't always have to have vinyl and a cutting machine. My writing stinks, but I try to make it cute with these little dots, and it does help just a little, but have grace on me. This is what it is, okay? Now, when I got these, I was actually wondering how it worked, but it's a magnet. There's a magnet in there and a piece of metal on one, and it just sticks there. Now, ain't that cute? That's my littles. I love my grandbabies. Here is a look at all of my completed projects. Overlook my dirty desk. It is dusty in my room. All that sanding and junk, you know, just gets everywhere. But anyway, these are my projects finished, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, you are a blessing. Goodbye.